Hi, welcome back. We're going to continue to look at data collection. Specifically, we're going to look at scraping. You will remember that scraping is the hardest way to get data. So I'd like to spend a little time on this. So how do we scrape data? We're going to look at one example on Google Play. So suppose you want to collect some app data from Google Play, but Google Play data is not available to download or through API. Then what do? So specifically, you want to look at or to collect all the app data that you can find. On Google Play, here we're showing an app called Shazam, which will record a short period of audio, and it will determine or tell you what the song name is. So suppose you're looking at Shazam, and you want to say, I want to start with Shazam and find out what are the related or similar apps on Google Play. And then using the same mechanism, you want to get as many app information as possible. So in other words, what you want to try and do is to collect the graph or collect a network of apps, where the nodes in the network would be an app, and the edges connecting them would be similar apps. So how would you do that? So for scraping, what you would need to do most of the time is to write a program or an algorithm to iteratively go through the data. In this case, you might want to start with a particular node, and then go to a similar apps or similar nodes, and then you want to repeat. So that when you start with 1, you get 10, and after getting each of the 10, you get another 10 for each of them. So using this mechanism, then you can collect the whole million node network of Google Play Graph. But how to exactly do that? What are the tricky bits? So I'd like you to spend 1 minute to think about this problem, and then we'll look at the solution together. So have you figured out how? So for most of the scraping, one of the key is to actually identify how you would uniquely label or identify a particular item in the whole data set. And if you are able to do that, identify one thing, then that means you can identify every single thing in the whole data set. And that's often the key, because if you are not able to do that, then you don't know what you have collected so far, what other things you might need to collect next. So for Google Play, what we need to do is to figure out how to identify an app, and then how to go from one app to the next app. So if you look at the source code of the web page for the particular app, say Shazam, you would know that there's actually a string that would uniquely identify an app, specifically a URL in our case. For example, for Shazam, you will have a very long string, play.google.com in the beginning, and then in the end, there's something called id.com.shazam.android. So com.shazam.android is the unique part for this app. And similarly, for Spotify, you also see it's com.spotify.music. So then the question is, how do you figure out these unique strings? And how to use this unique string to construct a URL that can uniquely pinpoint a particular app? So the tool that we're going to use is actually something that you already have, which is a browser's tool called Developer Tool. So we're going to look at a short video to look at how we can actually do that using this tool to extract the information that you want to get. So this is how the web page for Shazam would look like. So I'm using Chrome here. By clicking the button at the top right, you will see that there is a button for More Tools, Developer Tools. So if you click on that, it will bring up a panel at the bottom. The particular tool we're going to use is called the Element Selection tool at the top left of the panel. So if we click on it, and then mouse over any item on the web page, and click on those items, then it will jump you to the HTML source that corresponds to that item. I just click on the title of Shazam, and then at the bottom you see that Shazam, the word, actually appear on a div element in the HTML. So what that means is you can use the same tool here instead of looking at Shazam title. You can click on it again, and then go to a web link. So in this case, this is actually the web link that will bring you to another app called SoundHound. And if you look at the HTML source, you will see that at the end of the HTML or the URL, there you will see the unique string for that app. And of course, you can do the same thing. Do a sanity check, click on another app, and you'll see another string there. What that means is now we can start with Shazam and try to figure out how to very easily extract all these ID or all these URL from the web page, and then going from one to many of the apps in the whole data set. So what we have looked at so far is how to do scraping using a simple example on Google Play. But that is a skill that you can extend to almost any kind of scraping.